And folks, a new study finds statistically white Americans are more likely to have a bachelor's degree or higher, hold private health insurance, own a home, and have higher median household wealth than black and Hispanic Americans. But do you know what they prove to be the worst at, according to recent studies? Being happy about it. Ladies and gentlemen, I kind of believe this. Census Bureau study. You want to argue with me? Argue with them. Every white person I know kind of has seasonal depression all year long. Spring, summer, fall, winter. I don't know what it is. There's some unsturdy fellas. I'm just going to be honest with you. You either have a net worth in the six figures or you're walking into a methadone clinic. You have no shoes on. The kids are with their mother. They don't live with you. Seriously, I love whites. I love white people. My favorite ones are not the ones, though, that live near golf courses or the country club types, not the ones who, they can afford vacations to Itasca State Park or Hawaii. I love the whites whose moms yell at them when you're over at their house, and they yell back at her, by the way. They scream at each other in front of company. I love white people who've got a cousin or an uncle or two in rehab. I love white people who have like one person every generation who serves in the military and gets dishonorably discharged, and then they could proceed to put the flag up on the mantle like it still means something. I love white people who live on Indian reservations and take on that stretched out goofy accent with A and O's and shit. I love white people who work at gas stations. Listen, my white brothers and sisters, hear me now. You are who you are. The white monster drinkers, the ones with sisters named JC, Kelsey, or Brandy, the ones who are going home to a WWE match if dinner is cold, like the warriors, the kings, the heroes. I love trashy white people, ladies and gentlemen. They're salt of the earth, and what would steak be without a little salt? It'd probably be, still delicious, but, you still need a little salt, a little pepper, and I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know that we're going to have a working class in a few years from now, but by that I mean, when we put all of the Amazon job people, Amazon workers and whatnot out of a job, when we put the people who are delivering packages out of a job, when we put plumbers out of a job, when we put regular people, I know South Park did the joke a while ago where the plumbers were actually the rich folk because they're the ones that cannot be replaced by AI. That time is no longer here. We're actually in a time where soon enough you're gonna have a humanoid robot showing up to your house and you're gonna trust it a little bit more because it is not some Latin guy showing up. So you're not going, great, he's probably going to take something if I'm not in the same room as him. A robot, you're not going to have the same trust issues with. A robot, guess what? Your racist white, great grandma, she's going to feel so much comfier rather having just this big android looking thing. She will be so much happier having this thing show up to fix her pipes than any other race. I'm going to be honest with you. Even a white guy, she'll still be looking at him going I don't know, I feel like he's going to take something that your grandpa left me. And ladies and gentlemen, the reason I'm worried about this is because the people with the most are saying that the future, money is not going to be a thing here in a few years. It's not going to be a thing. Jobs are going to be a weird sort of remember when we used to go out and you used to be I have labor, my job, my body can provide work and energy towards something, and my mind maybe, and I can do things and I can coordinate with my hands and whatnot. That is a skill set of the past, unfortunately, in the world that we're creating now. Listen. Cashiers are going to be electronic. I don't go to the cashiers at Walmart who are normal people. I always do self-checkout. It's all being automated. We realize that all of us are on the chopping block. Once they figure out how to swap out teachers, janitors, every single job type that is out there right now, they will be automated. Jobs will be weirdly this thing where it's okay, kind of remember that? Remember the idea was you could get a job, maybe you could work up to something, maybe get a bigger house at the end of all this. Well, now what we're dealing with is a world where universal basic income is the big thing on a lot of people's minds. It's the ticket out of here, right and left, by the way. A lot of right-wing people or further right-wing individuals are starting to look at this idea, especially the richer ones, and they're going, yeah, this might be the only way that we can actually stop a French Revolution type shit. Listen. What I mean is that universal basic income is the idea that if there is mass unemployment, 50% or more unemployment, you're going to have a lot of people sitting around they don't have income anymore. So what do? You subsidize it all through the government. You essentially create a world where people are basing their finances on credits more so. You make sure that, because fiat already, we're not based on any gold, we're not based on any silver, anything tangible. We're based off of how much this person, a couple countries over, managing banks in areas you've never heard of or been to, they decide how much your money is worth. We're already on this sort of thing that's not really real. We're on this sort of cryptocurrency already. It happened in the 30s. It furthered on in the 70s and whatnot. They were not allowing you to hoard your own personal wealth that actually meant anything, so they wanted to get you on the fiat, the currency that is completely managed by the Fed. Now, they are going to move us into a world where it's like, okay, everybody makes like $1,000 every 2 weeks. You live in your section, you live in your housing that we've delegated is appropriate to your living standards, and you take the money that we give you every week, you proceed to go out, maybe you do like your little drugs, you go to your bar, you get your little family time in, you go just hang out or whatever, but you don't do anything relatively that meaningful. You're going to have a lot of people that are just going to do exactly what the government wants them to do in this situation. The gooning is going to be off the charts, ladies and gentlemen. Porn is going to take off massively. It's going to be, listen, if you thought the OnlyFans rates were ridiculous right now, if you thought that this was a good time to start selling your body, you're actually wrong. In a couple years, it's going to be an even better time. Because listen, AI girlfriends are fun, but they don't have the touch factor. And all the Chinese robots that everybody's making, the ones that are silicon, the ones that people say are going to be able to replace physical human beings and whatnot, physical relationships in a few years, and for all the poor people, they're going to be stuck with AI chatbots. Unfortunately, that's them. That's the life that you'll be living. You'll be living in your Section 8 housing that has been delegated to you by the government after the 15th Mamdani administration, because admittedly, they're going to continue to choose public figures that people really, they're fans of. They're going to continue to choose polarizing figures that make the electorate swing right and left, all this sort of shit. It's going to they're going to put on the show of the idea that you still have a country, but really everyone is going to be docile. They're going to go home to do nothing. They're going to bet on sports. They're going to fucking do their drugs, drink their alcohol, and they're just gonna sit and rot. Elon Musk, tell us what the future looks like in a world where money isn't a thing.
Yeah, I think money will stop being relevant at some point in the future. We do need to be careful because the future is a range of possible outcomes, and they're not all great. But at this point, I do agree with you that it's likely to be great. It's probably 80% likely, maybe more likely to be great. And I do think we'll have universal high income. We're basically just issuing money to people because the output of goods and services will so far exceed the money supply. That effectively you have deflation, because deflation is just the ratio of the outputs of goods and services to the money supply. So if the rate of growth of goods and services far exceeds the rate of growth of the money supply, which I predict will happen, then you will have deflation.
Do you think the value of money is going to significantly decrease? Will we go post-capitalist?
Yeah, I think money will stop being relevant at some point in the future. It's probably something like an Ian Banks culture sort of future, and I think the AI down the road will really not use human currency. It will just care about power and mass, wattage and tonnage.
It's kind of ironic then, right? Just as you're becoming a multi-trillionaire, money starts to have less value.
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting? Okay, we are dealing with the idea that any plan that you plan to tell your kid, oh, go to college, oh, do this, do that, go get a degree at this place, that whole model, it doesn't really work or exist anymore. The idea that you can really give your kid a roadmap to success at all in this day and age is kind of out the window. Parents don't even know how they're going to make money in the future here. Parents are kind of yeah, I'm fucked. If my job goes to AI, I don't know what's going on anymore. We are in a post plannable future. We are in an area where it's I don't know that there is going to be a recognizable world by the 2050s. I think that there's going to be something that we listen, it's going to look the way that we kind of look around right now. It's not going to look all that different. You think the infrastructure is going to get any better? Cyberpunk, however, is it 2077 or something? It's not going to look like that at all. As a matter of fact, it's going to look a little bit trashier. It's going to look a little worse. I don't think it's going to be like this idiocracy type of a world where, like, I think all of our IQs are going to lower and whatnot. I think there's a chance of I think the ratio is going to grow. The people who are interested in things are going to only get more interested in things, and they're only going to have more access to things due to the internet being a factor. But also, the people who are just kind of dullards and stupid and into nothing, they are going to increase by the masses, because it's going to be easier than ever to not have to know anything. It's going to be easier than ever to never. You don't have to have a skill set in the future now. You don't have to worry about, oh, what is my son gonna? He needs to really get his act together because he needs to take on my boat selling business or whatever. Your son's a fucking idiot. You wouldn't want him managing the company anyways. You know that he's just going to get issued a check listen, you were either planning on universal basic income becoming a thing, or you were going to fake a head injury at work for him so that he could get a check every month. Like, for disability, that was your plan for your child, and now that's like everybody's plan for their child, is to fake disability, because that's the only way that any of us really think that we're going to have any money in our pockets in a few years.